going on, Raider Nation? What a great win. I'm very satisfied. Finally came back, saw some tape of the game. And I know I didn't see it live, but still saw some tape after coming back and saw a little bit of it. So here to just talk about the game and recap. A very satisfied win, despite the scoreboard. There's no denying who deserves to win this game. Charger fans can admit they're struggling badly. 4 losses in a row for them, which, hey, it's looking real good. Chargers, this is, you can blame all you want, Marcus McNeil being out, but there's still no excuses. You're in your own house, and the Raiders take over that building every time. It's a ninth home game for the Raiders. It always is. And first off, let's talk about the negatives. Minor negatives was the turnovers, and the turnovers, of course. There was that fumble, which that's the blocking fault. I think Michael Bush missed the blocking assignment, and then that's what led to that interception. And then the fumble, of course, was also a blocking problem. The offensive line blew that. So 2 big mistakes by the offensive line that caused turnovers, and Michael Bush for that failed block. But other than that, a very satisfying game. The penalties were cut down; they weren't as painful. I think there was that 2 times they had that holding calls on that one drive that stalled, but the penalties weren't those painful ones. There weren't very many of those, if not any at all. So that's a good sign. Start off the game though, the running game, very effective, very very effective. Michael Bush, he showed that he's capable of being a #1 running back. Before McFadden emerged last year, I always liked Michael Bush. He had that big 170+ yard game against Tampa Bay. For those of you who remember a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago, I think, Philadelphia Eagle fans probably remember that more because they needed the Raiders to win that game. But Bush showed that he's capable of being a #1 running back for another team. He's the power runner. Usually he's the bruiser. And this game, he lit him up. He just lit up this Chargers run defense. I knew they were vulnerable. I knew they weren't that good. And yeah, it was lit up. There's no excuses for the Chargers to blow that. It's beautiful. So, a couple drives later, it's just kind of stalled a little back and forth. But right before halftime, Denarius Moore with, some big grabs. He set up 1 field goal. It was a nice grab by Denarius Moore. This was another solid game for him. The other one against Buffalo. But this one, he had some great catches. 2 touchdowns. I doubt anyone in fantasy had Denarius Moore. Probably no one had Denarius Moore if you're a fantasy owner. Someone probably had Michael Bush. Probably plenty did, but Denarius Moore, a great secret weapon right now. Not everyone's not knowing about him because we drafted him in the 5th round. He showed he's capable of being a #1 receiver against Buffalo, and this one played very well. We're a run-first team. That's why Palmer doesn't need to throw the ball that much. He just needs to throw when we need to throw it, and he didn't have very many attempts, but that's okay because we were able to run the ball effectively. And running the ball sets up the pass play, which, of course, that's what Raider football is all about with this team. We're built for that, and it should be very solid. Very, very solid, which very satisfied with this game. I said before, Phillip Rivers was human. It came to show again. I think there was that 1 turnover they had. There was a fumble they had. And then there was that interception. I don't know if it's all Rivers' fault for floating that. That was Vicente Jackson, supposedly your best receiver, not named Antonio Gates. And Vicente Jackson was just looking. He was brain farting or something. That was funny. That was real funny to see Vicente Jackson just kind of hesitate in that interception by Giordano. I would have gone down in the end zone if I were him, but that happens. The defense allowed its yards against Phillip Rivers. I'm not going to deny, Rivers can get past the ball pretty well if it weren't for some mistakes. But he's shown that he can choke. This season he's been a choker, 4th quarter-wise, Phillip Rivers. I don't know if him or LeBron James is going to win that distinction, but 4th quarter for Phillip Rivers hasn't been good for him. That interception wasn't helpful. And the Chargers didn't even try to run the ball. This is Norv Turner at its finest, He's a clown of a coach, whether you want to admit that or not, Charger fans. Yeah, he's won games for you, but he hasn't been very impressive. Norv Turner, of course, us in Raider Nation know him very well. He's a good coordinator, but I don't think he's a good head coach. He's really a clown. And he called all these passing plays. I know they're down, but so many passing plays. The Raiders, for the most part, the Raiders defense was able to step it up, and I got to give props to the coaching staff for motivating these guys. The other thing defensively was Cameron Wembley. Once McNeil went out, they tore up the offensive line. Whoever took over at left tackle, Cameron Wembley was a beast. So was, for most part, the defensive line stepped it up when we needed them to. They've been also another nice positive was Aaron Curry from Seattle. Aaron Curry's been decent as a role player on here. Not no high expectations. I like what I'm seeing from him. So that's a good positive also to look at this game. Also, the only thing I might not have agreed with was the fake punt thing. I know Janikowski's hurt a little, so he can't kick the long field goal, but I guess one fake, why not? But that play didn't turn out to be so well. But the Raiders' running game, if you can run the ball well, you can pretty much win a game. And despite what the scoreboard shows, it doesn't reflect how the Raiders dominated this game on the ground. Just satisfied on all aspects. I couldn't be more happy with this team, and thank you, Hugh Jackson, for talking the big game. And Palmer looked very good out there. Those mistakes that he made were not his fault, so I'm liking what I'm seeing from Palmer. He'll get better as time goes on. It's good to get a 10 days of rest as well. So, if there's anything I missed or didn't include, I saw a lot of tape of the game, didn't see every single play, so if there's anything that I missed, please let me know. But hey, Denarius Moore, probably give him the player of the game, and as well as a lot of the defense for holding Rivers to not that many scores. So, good game, guys. Let's keep it up and just win, baby. I guess we'll have to cheer for the Broncos this Sunday. So, see y'all later. Go Raiders.